Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. And right before the Monday night game kicks off, I think I could squeeze in a little video for the preview and my top plays for week 6 at the QB position for the Fan Duel Main slate. So let's get right into it. Once again, it's another 11 game slate, pardon me. So we have the London game series. We have teams on bye Thursday night and Monday night. So, yes, it's 11 games plus. It's 11 games plus. Yes, FanDuel is sticking with the Sunday night game, of course. Like I said, it depends on your opinion. Some people like it. Some people hate it. It is what it is. But we're here to preview these top plays, and this one should be an interesting one, without a doubt. So, once again, when it comes to week 6, who's not on the slate? Because of the scheduling, here you go. No 49ers, no Seahawks. We're not going to get no Purdy. There's no Mason on the slate jacking up ownership. There's no Seahawks, so there's no medium price Geno, Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba stacks with Kenneth Walker in the backfield. For the London game, Jaguars and Bears. So even though people are probably hyped to play Tank Bigsby, he's not on the slate. Brian Thompson's not on the slate to stack up with Lawrence. There's no Caleb Williams. There's no DeAndre Swift. No Keenan Allen. No DJ Moore. And because of the Sunday night game, well, we have the Sunday night game. Because of the Monday night game, no Bills, no Jets. The bye week teams are as follows: Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, and Vikings. So, with that little bit of the introductory, let's get right into it. It is definitely interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting to see who pays up for who. You can pay up for either or. Obviously, you're going to think Jaden Daniels is probably going to come out because he's almost a full 1,000 cheaper, 800 to be exact, than Lamar Jackson. These two face off against each other. You do know both have the upside because Washington defense, one, is playing well, surprisingly. They can apply some pressure. I don't think they'll be able to get through the big line of the Ravens. But when it comes to Lamar, I see Lamar having more time to pass because I don't think Washington will be able to generate any type of pressure against that offensive line. But I think the pressure that Baltimore can generate is just going to force Jaden Daniels to step up in the pocket more. So this is definitely one of those where, at your own risk, I would say this is definitely one of those. Obviously, the last 2 weeks, it pays off to stack him with Scary Terry and maybe even a little bit with Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has been getting a lot of targets lately. But if they force him out the pocket and they're able to stick to their man and play man-to-man. Now, Scary Terry can beat man coverage. But if he can't beat man coverage and Jaden Daniels, he's going to take some shots. But if he's forced out of the pocket before he's set the throw, I think Jaden Daniels' ceiling is probably going to be just a tad higher. I think Lamar's going to have more of the option to, one, give it to King Henry and pass it when he wants to and run it when it's designed to. I think because of just the way the matchup is, Jaden Daniels is going to be forced out the pocket more, which gives him more upside because he's going to have design runs rather than the once-in-a-while pressure that the Redskins are going to bring up because there's a better offensive line in front of Lamar Jackson than there was a better offensive line than there was in front of Deshaun Watson. So this is kind of a coin flip to me in a way, but I think the higher inside, and this has nothing to do with price. I just think because of the ability and the opportunity to make fantasy points will be on Jaden Daniels' side. It will be on Jaden Daniels' side, I think, in this matchup. But both are still good plays. It's just that if you commit 95 to Lamar's going to have one of those run for 60 to 80. He has to get a touchdown and maybe throw, and then he's going to have to do what he can, probably throw for 200. And then in those 250 plus yards, have to get 2 touchdowns within those yards. He has to. For Lamar Jackson to pay off the benefit, King Henry will have to literally have a decent game with one TD. I can easily see 4 TDs scored by the Ravens, and then it could be Lamar running one, King Henry running one, and then Lamar somehow passing it to whoever for the other 2. It could happen, but it needs to happen that way. Because the minute you see King Henry get a lead and he has 2 touchdowns, 95 is a huge risk. 95 is a huge risk. 95 is what? 200 more than what the highest Josh Allen has been. So definitely the highest any quarterback has been. But like I said, the upside is there. But like I said, higher upside with Jaden Daniels. Jordan Love at home against Arizona. Definitely like this matchup. 8,500. We're definitely dropping way down from the top two quarterbacks now. Now prices are getting stagnant right into the 8. This is just a group of 8,000 QBs. You got Jalen Hurts. Nice matchup against Cleveland. He should have his full repertoire of weapons. CJ Stroud. Going to be a little interesting. Does he finally get Mixon back? And number two, how long is he going to be out with Nico Collins? I don't think Nico Collins plays. When I get to my defensive videos, there's a lot of low-priced defenses that I think have interesting matchups that could hold their own against some wounded offenses. So we'll have to see. But obviously, with no Nico Collins, stacking up Stroud becomes a lot more easy and affordable. Joe Burrow against the Giants. As a team, real life-wise, it's a mess. But fantasy-wise, they're after the first couple of weeks slope, that offense is starting to click. So yes, Giants defense did come to play against Seattle, and they're going back home, but way more of a high-powered offense of the Bengals than kind of a slower pace, once in a while big play, and very concentrated Seattle offense. So Joe Burrow definitely has a nice opportunity there. You gotta love Dak. Dak might be my favorite 8,000 quarterback besides Jaden Daniels. Like I said, that run game is non-existent now. Detroit did get run on because they're normally a very good run defense, and then Kenneth Walker ran all over them. If Detroit can kind of do what most teams have done, because even they gave up a few runs, but even Pittsburgh shut down the run. Once again, it's definitely one of my favorite. Plays, because just the pass value that Prescott brings, and then like I said, Detroit will make it a high-paced offense, but they'll be at home. But as you can see here, look, only one game all season has he had under 30 attempts, and that was against the Giants. And that, by the way, was just an ugly game the way it was played with all the penalties and everything. But 42 attempts, 51 attempts, 39 attempts, 32 attempts. The attempts are going to be there. Dak is definitely one of my favorite plays. He's a 1A and 1B in the 8,000 mark. And at home against Detroit, I definitely like that. He's always a fantasy option, without a shadow of a doubt. As we go down here, you see Baker and Kyler, kind of a flip-flop there, coin flip, both on the road. Kyler with the upside. New Orleans normally plays Tampa Bay tough. But I do like Kyler, even though he's on the road at Green Bay. The defensive matchup is easier for Kyler, and then the upside will be for what he has with his legs. Jared Goff, like I said, you always got to work. Like I said, I think this is not the Detroit team from 2 or 3 years ago where you're like, oh yeah, they're great at home, but they can lay an egg on the road. Like I said, it is a weakened Dallas defense with the injuries that have been popping up, but it's still a great option to attack Dallas, who is not at full power on defense, and even not on full power. They're just not the same defense even when they were healthy. They looked great against Cleveland, and they haven't really looked that good ever since. Justin Fields, definitely another good, an even better matchup. 7,600. He's priced up maybe 200. I think it was 74 last week. Justin Fields is definitely a good play at Las Vegas. Definitely easier defensive matchup with what he does, design runs, and he's definitely going to have an easier time getting the ball to Pickens and Van Jefferson and Pat Freiermuth. Pass phone, you always got to look at Derek Carr, a nice 7,500. The QBs are pretty much priced up. It just depends on what are their stacking options. I think second or third when it comes to top plays. I have top 3. This week it is, like I said, I love Jaden Daniels because of the upside and the way the game's square. Baltimore gets to him, is going to force Jaden to run even more. I like Dak Prescott because, like I said, the pass value and the game environment that Detroit brings to Dallas. But I think to end my top 3, Kirk Cousins. Last week, the funny thing was not a lot of people, and I didn't even pick it up like that, but I ended up playing him. I just didn't stack it right. You got to attack the team who's the worst in the league. And if you don't think they're the worst in the league, maybe you think the Jets are, maybe you think the Bengals are, but it's the worst defense in the league. Kirk Cousins stacks should be viable. If he goes in low owned and continues to be low owned, and I think Kirk Cousins is going to be well owned anyway, because a lot of the guys that run with the legs have a high expectation of doing well. They're gonna have to do a lot to. They're gonna have to do a lot to vary these prices up here. 95, 87. You go down to Jalen Hurts, 83. The next running quarterback, Kyler Murray. That's the first running quarterback with a decent price, not something substantial. So you got Justin Fields then down at 76. Kirk Cousins against the worst. And like I said, it brings a lot of opportunity to Bijan, but they throw like it's not like Bijan's a bailout. Like they throw at least 4 to 6 screen passes on design dump offs to Bijan. So stacking Kirk Cousins with 2 wide receivers, stacking him. I'm already talking about stacking him with Bijan and a wide receiver, whether it's Drake London, whether if it's Mooney, one of those kind of things. Those things work. But Kirk Cousins, because they're going against the worst defense in the league, and especially against the pass. I mean, they're worse against the run, but they're still susceptible to getting up beat down deep. They got beaten up quite a bit by Caleb Williams just yesterday. So Kirk Cousins is definitely one of my top 3. Now to go through the rest of the slate. For fantasy reasons, obviously we all want Flacco in. We hope Anthony Richardson could take another break against Tennessee. But like I said, that's a wait and see kind of thing. As you keep going down here. Now, once again, do I see anything viable for the budget, the cheap stacks, the garbage prices? The only thing that's possible that I can see here, hey, he did it once, he could possibly do it again. That defense is not that good. And he's not turning over the ball like that this year. So Daniel Jones at home against Cincinnati. And maybe he gets Malik Davis back. Definitely a cheap option there. And I think after that, I don't think you go no lower than that. I can't go no lower than that. There's nothing down here at all. Absolutely not. There's absolutely, positively nothing here at all that I won't want to go to. Under 7,000, it's only Daniel Jones. Other than that, you should be waiting on the Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco news, and you should be making your QB decision on Fan Duel from 7,200 and up, since Anthony Richardson and Flacco are the same price. After that, you go straight up. But Kirk Cousins going against the worst defense in the league is number 3. He should be able to tear up. He should be able to tear up that defensive secondary, and then like I said, the upside of Lamar and Jaden Daniels, kind of a 1A 1B, and then after that, Dak Prescott. Those are my top plays or top choices. Yes, Burrow. Yes, Stroud. They could do something. Yes, Derek Carr can do something, once again, in the famous pass funnel. And I do think Justin Fields has big upside against Las Vegas, yes. I think he should be a good cash game option at 76. But those are my main top plays right there. The top 2 runners right there at 95, then you drop all the way to 87. You got Dak Prescott with the pass value. And it's a secondary that can be beat. I expect CD to do some things. That might be a high scoring game. I don't know what the over under in that game is as of yet. But let me see if I can find it here. Is this set yet? Oh yes, it's set. I don't have to check the rest of the schedule. That is set at 52.5. That is set at 52.5 with Detroit being the favorite. After that, everything else is 40. Packers and Cardinals are 49.5. When it comes to the slate, and everything else is like 45 and under. Was there 48 somewhere? Let me see. Yeah. Giants and Bengals are 48.5. Panthers, Falcons, 47. Like I said, the Cowboys is a 52.5. Oh, no. Ravens, there you go. Well, I just said that. This is my first. I'm actually doing this, and it's my first time looking at the over-unders. And also, the Commanders and Ravens are at 52.5. Hey, Ravens defense got pretty beat up last week, even though they were able to put a beating on Joe Burrow, but they still got scored on. So, well, there you go. I just said the upside is right there. But when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to the fantasy side, Jaden Daniels should be doing a lot more scrambling than Lamar. And like I said, if Henry goes off against that front 7 in Washington, he kills. There's no need for Lamar. You won't need Lamar. And I don't think Washington puts pressure to force Lamar to scramble like that. I really don't. But that's the end of this week 6 preview for my top players at quarterback. Good luck with your research. Running back video coming very soon. Good luck with your research this weekend and enjoy the Monday night game. I think I finished just in time for kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy the game. This is Grade A Fantasy on the Grade A Flicks channel. Signing off.